Hey everyone, it's Cliff here, and I have the joy and privilege of serving our students and their families at our West Campus, and it is so good to be with you today. And so I've been given the topic to speak about families, and I have to confess to you that when I was giving this topic, the first thing that came to mind was if they only knew what it looked like in the Downey household, they probably wouldn't be letting me speak on this topic. And you may even see it in here right now and say, Cliff, you're on staff, you're a pastor, you should have this whole family thing figured out. Well, I just want to tell you, I don't. And life at the Downey household is absolutely crazy. We do have our good times, I will say that, but there are many times where we actually have to put a new definition on the word of chaos. And so, but in these times, God is using, and He has used these times to show me really, He's exposing my thoughts, He's exposing my desires and my passions. He's showing me things in my life that truly do not glorify Him. And He's also showing me areas in my life that actually put my needs and my interest above others. And so thanks be to God for this season. And so today I just want to take a few moments and just go through two things for us just to recognize. Number one is to recognize the current times we're living in as families. To recognize the current times we're living in as families. And two is how do we leverage these times that God has given us to make the biggest gospel impact in our family. And so let's face it, these times are crazy, right? We are in quarantine, and it is pushing every single one of us to our limits. But also it is exposing things in our life that need to change. And the question that we have to ask ourselves is how do we handle this as parents and families? How do we handle this as parents and families? And I believe it starts with just finding ways to show and express grace to those around us. Finding ways to show and express grace to those around us. You see, the Bible describes grace as an undeserved gift from God. You see, God, through His love, graciously has given us the gift of eternal life through His Son, Jesus. And when we truly understand that, and when we embrace that, and when we experience that, we are able to take that grace and extend it to others. And so I don't know about you, but as I'm preparing for this message, I'm like, man, it's so much easier for me to show grace to others outside of my family than it is to my family. I'm more patient with others. I'm more loving for others. I'm easily angered in my family. So God is showing me these things and He's exposing this in my life. And so this is an area that many of us struggle in, and most of us struggle in. And if that's you today, I just want to let you know that I'm right there with you. But I do want to tell you this, that we have hope, and His name is Jesus. And the verse I want to share with you today is Ephesians 2:8-9. And it says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith. And it is not of yourselves, it is a gift of God, not the results of works, so that none of us can boast." And so I want to share with you quickly just 5 ways that God is showing me how to extend grace to others, especially those in my family. And starting with G, it's begin with gratitude. You see, when I'm ready to react in anger, I first thinking that, man, I have been blessed and I am grateful to have a spouse and children who love and support me. So begin with gratitude. R is resist the emotions. I'm not saying that emotions aren't real, because they are. God made us this way, He wired us this way, but we actually have a choice how we express our emotions. And so I must make the choice to resist expressing negative emotions. And I'm not trying to be Mr. Positive here, but I'm here to tell you when we express negative emotions, there are a lot of times unintended outcomes that come with it. For example, when your kids, there's a situation at home and maybe your kids respond or act a certain way, and you think, and the moment hits you, oh my word, that what they just said or did look just like what I have shown. That's an unintended outcome that just come of that. So resist the emotions. A is adjust my thinking. I realize whatever my loved one is doing is probably not, they're not doing it, even though it annoys me, they're not doing it intentionally. Maybe they're there and they're just trying to express themselves, that they are actually trying to communicate that they have a need. Maybe it's that they want affirmation. Maybe they're there and they're trying to get you to respond and they just want to be affirmed. Maybe it's physical touch. They're all over you and they just want to know that you care and you love them. So understanding that as we adjust our thinking. C is communicate kindly. You see, sometimes this can just start with a question. Maybe, how can I help you? Or what can I do for you? You see, God is showing me that communication can either infuse or defuse a situation. And think about it, when a situation is there and it begins to escalate, we are infusing that, we are igniting it. We are literally turning it up and turning it on. But when we defuse something, that means we're actually turning it off, we're extinguishing it. So just simply asking a question can help a ton, that God in these moments that God gives us. And this also actually puts the needs of others before our very own, doesn't it? And last but not least, E is express the gospel. This is where the undeserved gift comes in. That even when you are able to justify your response for maybe your kids annoying you, right? There's a moment where we see that when we see others the way that God has seen us, this is how our perspective changes. And let me ask you this. Who of all people could justify doing something to someone and not giving them what they deserve? It's God, right? God's the one. This is the gospel. This is what he's done for us. And so I hope this has encouraged you today, and I hope this reminded you of the grace that God offers to every single one of us. Now, I encourage you to go and live through the grace that God offers you. Bye-bye.